Hello, here we are on Alloy Day 11, and I'm at Experimental Sound Studio as always, working on this instrument and having fun with it, trying new ideas out. I'm going to really focus mostly on developing the ideas around the Chopin Etude Opus 10 number 3. And some preliminary ideas were around using tinfoil, finding that sort of rattlesnake sound, and seeing what kind of things could happen from that, and developing it further. Also just generally experimenting with tinfoil and seeing what kind of white noise effects can come from that. And then I'm also going to work with dowels, but also just generally maybe, these are actually skewers, bamboo skewers from a grocery store. And I'm going to work with that and also just generally think about wood a little more and how that can interact with the strings of the piano. Some experiments with putting tinfoil over a really large bolt here, so like these external tooth washers onto it, but it wasn't gonna fit. There's like this one's pretty muted in terms of other notes, but this one I have to play the B, and if you hear that rattling, trying to just find ways to mute it and then very quickly and easily pull it off like that. So this has been an interesting day because I'm not really for sure knowing what I'm going to do fully here. I'm kind of went the opposite direction in the end because it's really hard to get these to stop rattling. Kind of an experiment that kind of turned on its head to the opposite side of the original intention of avoiding as much as possible and trying to be minimal with the amount of rattling, to something more maximal where I use rattling always, all the time, everywhere, but on more of a gradations that are responding to the dissonance of each chord. So. This is Alloy Day 11 wrapping up. A weird day. One of the weirdest ones because I started with a goal that completely flipped on its head, and it ended with sort of like a half-baked idea as of now of making the whole thing into a pretty like more maximal in preparations. There's a lot more things I want to add. A lot of rattling around now. Here's an E and B. I've changed it to be some of the most important notes in E major having rattles on it, from the opposite of trying to avoid all the E major and do only non-E major notes with rattling. But just to recap, the rattling is extremely hard to isolate on a piano, even when you're playing with little or no pedal. Trying to find the subtle balance between the accompaniment part of the inner voices. So that's what I'm working with, gradations of distortion, both in this sort of white noise kind of effect, as well as the actual bolts and screws, which are a lighter degree. The fish hooks don't mess with the pitch quite as much. And playing with those balances between melody, inner voice chords, and then just the bass support of the Chopin Etude Opus 10 No. 3. This was an interesting day of experiments. I hope you enjoyed watching and listening and watching my struggles. And yeah, I hope something comes of this that's interesting. Thanks for watching.